You're not meant to be down here, Luke, which means we absolutely have to go down here, obviously.
Why does every forbidden place in human history start with echoing footsteps and bad lighting? This is how horror films begin. I don't consent to becoming Vatican folklore.
Too late! Mindzilla is officially inside the Vatican's undercarriage, beneath the basilicas, beneath the tombs, beneath the polite tourism.
I just want it on record that if my ghost haunts this corridor, is suing you.
Welcome back to Mindzilla, your weekly injection of curiosity, chaos, and questionable life choices. I'm Jess, raised Catholic, escaped with minimal emotional scarring, and now fully committed to finding every locked room beneath the holiest ground on earth.
And I'm Luke, not raised Catholic, but somehow still convinced Jess is dragging me into a religious trauma that isn't even mine.
Tonight, we are marching straight into the heart of the Vatican, the smallest country on earth, and possibly the largest order of secrets in human history.
You say that like it's been confirmed,
It hasn't.
so you're guessing.
No, I'm inferring aggressively.
Fantastic, already comforting.
Here's what we're doing tonight. Not the cute tourist Vatican, not the postcard Vatican, not the, oh look, a Swiss card in Renaissance pajamas Vatican. We're doing the underground Vatican, the locked rooms, the archives you can't request, the files they don't release, the scandals they bury, the prophecies they censored, the aliens they accidentally hinted at, and the money that absolutely does not smell like holy water.
I want to go home.
This is your home now.
I missed the time when this podcast was about weird cults and the Mandela effect.
Oh, it still is.
Why does that make me more scared?
Because tonight's thesis is simple. The Vatican isn't just a church, it's the oldest intelligence agency still in operation.
That's a sentence I wish I could delete from my brain.
By the end of this episode, we will have covered missing girls, murdered whistleblowers, hidden gospels, fake miracles, mafia bankers, UFO files, time machines, and end times prophecies. And I promise you, none of that is metaphorical.
If you say alien gospel at any point, I'm legally leaving the room.
Well, stay tuned.
Right before Jess starts accusing librarians of hiding Nephilim skulls, we need to ground this. The Vatican is a sovereign city-state, not a metaphor, not a vibe, a literal country. It has its own laws, its own courts, its own police, its own prisons, its own army, its own bank, its own diplomatic corps.
So, a church that accidentally became a Bond villain lair.
Let's ignore that. It exists independently of Italy. It answers to no external government. It has legal immunity in most of the world, which means if you wanted to build the perfect long-term secrecy machine,
You'd invent Catholicism.
you'd invent the Vatican.
And then you'd quietly build 53 miles of underground archive shelving.
53 miles. That's not a filing cabinet, that's a personality trait.
And those shelves contain monarch letters, dictator correspondence, secret treaties, trial transcripts, banking records, intelligence cables, internal investigations, and suppressed manuscripts.
Which already means conspiracy theorists technically don't have to do any work.
Exactly. If any institution on earth could hide the truth about history, religion, politics, aliens, or itself, this is the one.
And that's before we even go underground.
Directly beneath St. Peter's Basilica is an entire Roman necropolis.
Which is already deranged urban planning.
They built Christianity's most important church on top of a pagan graveyard.
That explains everything.
Down there you have narrow alleys, sealed tombs, pagan shrines, early Christian graves, and a chamber believed to hold the bones of St. Peter himself.
which, for the record, is locked behind multiple restricted doors.
And only a microscopic number of researchers have ever been allowed near it, some of whom.
Stopped doing interviews.
Exactly. Coincidence?
Just please.
No clarification, only vibes.
This is not a legal standard of evidence.
It is on this podcast. Now, beyond the necropolis is where things get spicy. There are restricted tunnels, sealed chambers, climate-controlled vaults, and rooms with no catalog entry. Former Vatican guards and staff have claimed motion sensor rooms with no listed purpose, sealed doors with no keys on record, a chamber that is always cold even in the summer, storage for objects described as not of earthly origin.
I refuse to accept that quote without context.
No context, only chaos.
So beneath a holy city
Is a labyrinth of tombs, vaults, secret rooms, sealed tunnels, and climate-controlled mystery boxes.
Right. Fact check lane for 10 seconds. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, formerly called the Secret Archive, is real.
It contains over 53 miles of shelving. That number comes from Vatican inventory records.
Which means even if there's nothing spooky in there, there's still 53 miles of receipts.
Documented contents include letters from Henry VIII begging for a divorce, trial transcripts of Galileo and Giordano Bruno, correspondence with Hitler and Mussolini, secret diplomatic cables, medieval grimoires seized by the Inquisition, early Christian manuscripts. That part is not a conspiracy.
That's just admin with a body count.
Now, here's where we cross into the credible allegation territory. Multiple historians and researchers granted limited access have said entire catalog sections are missing. Some shelves are deliberately mislabeled. Certain vaults aren't listed at all, and some documents are embargoed for 75 to 100 years.
That's not theology, that's a Netflix true crime series.
And now we leave academic lane and gently drift into the conspiracy lane. Rumored archive contents are fully originals of the Gospel of Thomas, Mary, and Judas, early Christian texts describing reincarnation, Jesus' childhood years in India and Tibet, documents implying Jesus survived the crucifixion, proof of a bloodline descending from Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
Dan Brown just sat upright in bed and doesn't know why.
Also allegedly stored are the Book of Enoch in uncensored form, Watcher mythology manuscripts, Nephilim genealogies, pre-flood civilization maps, Antarctica maps dated before the ice coverage, pagan ritual artifacts seized by the church.
Okay, pause. Epistemic check. Which of these are 1. Real books, 2. Missing books, 3. Reddit energy?
Excellent question. The Book of Enoch is real and removed from most Bibles. Gospel of Thomas is real, discovered at Nag Hammadi. Gospel of Mary, real fragments. Antarctica pre-ice maps, real but disputed. Everything else speculative but wildly rumored.
So the Vatican may not have aliens in filing cabinets.
Yet, but what is documented is that thousands of manuscripts were seized and never returned. Many were never catalogued publicly, and entire categories of early Christian thought vanished from the doctrine.
So Christianity as we know it.
Is an editorial decision. This is where it stops feeling mystical and starts feeling bureaucratic. The archive is controlled by the prefect of the Apostolic Archive, the Secretary of State, Vatican committees, and the Pope himself. Access requires formal academic sponsorship, the Vatican approval, topic pre-clearance, and surveillance while you work.
So it's like MI6 but with rosaries.
Exactly. Researchers have reported being denied files mid-project, sections suddenly becoming unavailable, notes being confiscated, and digital copies being refused.
That's not normal library behavior.
And this part is fully documented. Entire collections are banned for decades, meaning you are legally not allowed to know certain things yet.
which is a sentence that should never apply to history.
Court is this moment. History isn't hidden by demons, it's hidden by men with stamps, committees, and deadlines.
I've worked in offices, this checks out.
Let's get back to documented fact lane. The Vatican Bank, officially the Institute for the Works of Religion, was deeply entangled with the Italian mafia.
Sentence of the year.
Roberto Calvi, nicknamed God's Banker, was found dead in 1982 hanging on the Blackfriars Bridge in London. It was ruled a suicide, but it wasn't.
That escalated fast.
Banco Ambrosiano collapsed with over $1 billion missing. Several Vatican officials were linked to money laundering, offshore shell companies, mafia financing, and CIA adjacent operations during the Cold War.
The God's Bank was running God's crypto scam.
Then there is Pope John Paul I. He died 33 days into his papacy. Official cause: heart attack. Problems with that narrative are no autopsy, conflicting timelines, his doctor wasn't even called, and he planned to reform the Vatican Bank.
You're not saying.
I'm staying suspicious. That's all I'm saying. Then we get the VatiLeaks. Paulo Gabriel leaked internal documents showing corruption, bribery, power struggles, and secret funds,
And he went to prison.
which means the documents were real.
So far, the conspiracy theory is that they don't lie.
Exactly. This episode is a demonstration that no matter how godly you are, power always finds a way to corrupt you. Okay, new rationale lane. Everything up to now has been court records, archive inventories, historical documents, and verified scandals. This next section, we are officially entering credible allegation, fringe theory, and what you find in History Channel at 2 a.m.
Good. I've put my critical thinking into airplane mode.
Meet Father Pellegrino Ernetti, Benedictine monk, respected musicalist, serious academic reputation. In the 1950s, he claimed the Vatican helped build a device called the chronovisor,
Already hate it.
a machine that could view events in the past, not travel, not change, just watch, like time CCTV.
That's worse.
Ernetti says it used electromagnetic radiation, visual energy from past events, and advanced harmonics. He claimed a team of scientists helped build it, including Enrico Fermi, a Nobel Prize physicist, Werner von Braun, yes, the engineer of rocket technology that powered both Nazis' war efforts and USA Apollo missions.
You can't just casually add Nazis to a time machine.
Watch me. Ernetti said he personally saw Cicero delivering speeches, Napoleon giving orders, and Jesus during the crucifixion.
Nope, that's a Netflix original already.
He even published what he claimed was a photograph of Jesus on a cross, which experts later said was probably a statue.
So, busted?
Maybe, but here's the weird part. In 1962, the Vatican allegedly confiscated the chronovisor and later issued a decree threatening excommunication for anyone who tried to build time-viewing devices.
I'm sorry. That's not how lies behave.
Exactly. Why ban a machine that doesn't exist?
Unless you're worried someone going to live stream the resurrection.
And now we enter the time crime theory. If you could observe the past, you could blackmail governments, rewrite history, discredit witnesses, expose crimes, and or protect institutions.
So the Vatican wouldn't be a church anymore.
It would be a time-based intelligence agency.
I hate this episode.
Fact lane again. The Vatican runs one of the world's oldest observatories. It employs Jesuit astronomers. It operates telescopes in Arizona, and senior Vatican officials have publicly said they would baptize an alien if it asked.
That sentence should collapse reality.
Now, conspiracy lane. Ancient texts describe glowing beings descending from the sky, wheels within wheels, fire chariots, watchers who taught humans technology.
You're describing Ezekiel or a UFO documentary.
Both, probably. Now, academic flag. The Book of Enoch is a real ancient Jewish text removed from most biblical canons, and still considered scripture in Ethiopian Christianity. It describes watchers descending from the heavens, hybrid offspring called Nephilim, forbidden knowledge, and divine punishment.
So, fallen angels or extraterrestrials?
Choose your fighter. And quick note, I'm prepping a Mindzilla mini-series on books removed from the Bible, books never added, and the editing process that created Christianity as we know it. So bookmark this.
Oh god, she's franchising.
More academic flags. The Gospel of Thomas is real, discovered in 1945 at Nag Hammadi, contains sayings of Jesus and not in the Bible. Gospel of Mary, real fragments, features Mary Magdalene as Jesus' spiritual equal. Again, miniseries.
This is becoming a cinematic universe.
Now back to aliens, my happy place. Some theorists believe angels were extraterrestrials, Nephilim were hybrids, and religion is a misinterpreted first contact event.
History Channel, take the wheel.
And here's the Vatican specific spies. There are rumors of Vatican UFO files, CIA collaboration, crash retrieval cooperation, and a non human intelligence archive.
Men in Black, but make it Catholic.
Men in tunics, probably. Back to academic lane for a minute. The Vatican officially holds one of the largest collections of prophetic, mystical, and apocalyptic manuscripts on Earth. That's documented. Mystics, visionaries, saints, medieval end time scholars, thousands of texts describing the fall of empires, plagues, wars, false messiahs, and the end of the world.
So, a spiritual disaster playlist.
Exactly. And historically, the church has censored prophecy, edited visions, buried revelations, and delayed publication of apocalyptic material. That part is fully documented.
Because nothing says, don't panic, like hide in the future.
Now enter the documented text with disputed meaning lane. The prophecy of Saint Malachi, a 12th century list of 112 cryptic Latin mottos, one for each pope. It was allegedly discovered in the Vatican archives in 1590. Each motto appears to loosely describe a future pope, and uncomfortably, many of them fit.
Uncomfortably how?
For example, the Laboris Solis, of the labor of the sun, that one aligns with Pope John Paul II, born during a solar eclipse, buried during a solar eclipse.
I don't like that at all.
The final entry, Petros Romanos, Peter the Roman. It says, and I quote, in a final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end.
That escalated wildly.
Rome is the city of the 7 hills.
Stop it.
Relax. That was only an observation. Let's get in the academic lane again. In 1917, 3 Portuguese children claimed the Virgin Mary appeared to them in Fatima. That part is documented. The church officially recognized the apparitions. They were given 3 secrets. 2 were released. The third was sealed.
Never seal anything if you don't want chaos.
I know, right? I think they low-key love chaos, though. It was locked in the Vatican archives. The popes read it and refused to release it for decades.
That's not how good news behaves.
When they finally released it, or a version of it in 2000, it described a bishop dressed in white walking through a ruined city over corpses before being killed. The Vatican said it symbolizes the persecution of the Church, the assassination attempt on John Paul II.
Which feels like PR.
Many insiders claim that wasn't the real third secret. That part of it is missing, and that the original version predicted apostasy inside the church, the fall of Rome, and a global catastrophe.
So they released the vibes only cut.
That's exactly what they did. Now enter the documented structure and speculative influence lane, the Jesuits. Officially, they are scholars, educators, missionaries. Unofficially, they are nicknames the Pope's Pope. Their leader is called the Black Pope.
That sounds extremely metal.
He outranks every cardinal. He answers only to the Pope. And historically, the Jesuits have advised monarchs, shaped geopolitics, influenced intelligence agencies, and run global networks.
So Vatican CIA.
Yep, not even in a differently based episode we can escape it. Some conspiracy theorists believe the Black Pope holds the real power, apocalyptic knowledge is filtered upwards, and prophecy is strategically managed.
So even the Pope has a manager.
It seems that way. Final thesis for this segment. If the Vatican censors prophecy, edits apocalyptic texts, and delays revelations and withholds end time material, then the question isn't what are they hiding? It's what are they waiting for?
I don't consent to that thought.
Neither does Rome. Okay, hard pivot back to documented facts. The Vatican officially employs a chief exorcist. Until his death in 2016, that was Father Gabriel Amherst. He claimed he personally performed over 70,000 exorcisms. That number is in his published interviews and books.
That's not a job, that's a subscription service.
He also said, possession is real, Satan is real, demons are real, and governments secretly consult the Vatican about possession cases.
I'm sorry, governments.
Yes, he claimed politicians, military officials, and intelligence agencies had requested Vatican exorcists for classified cases.
That sentence should be illegal.
The Vatican's official exorcism protocol requires medical evaluation, psychiatric assessment, neurological screening before an exorcism is approved. That part is documented.
So they do acknowledge mental illness.
Yes, but here's the uncomfortable overlap. Symptoms described in possession cases include disassociation, voices, violent outbursts, seizures, and personality fragmentation.
Which is textbook psychiatric crisis.
Exactly. Now, conspiracy lay. Some whistleblowers claim certain patients were misdiagnosed as possessed. Exorcism was used instead of psychiatric care, and some people died during ritual treatment.
That's not spiritual, that's negligent homicide.
Now we enter a speculative but deeply uncomfortable territory. What if exorcism isn't just a ritual? What if it's a belief weapon?
You're about to ruin religion.
Belief is one of the strongest forces in the human brain. Placebo effect, nocebo effect, mass hysteria, cultural contagion.
So demons are memes.
Kind of. Some theorists believe exorcism reinforces authority, terror conditions obedience, possessions narratives suppress dissent, and belief systems are used as behavioral control.
So instead of MK Ultra, it's MK Holy.
Now, fringe lane. There are rumors of a Vatican archive section labeled Phenomena, containing possession cases, paranormal events, miracle investigations, unexplained healings, stigmata files, and allegedly cases involving government cooperation.
So the X-Files, but everyone's Catholic.
Exactly. And if that archive exists, then the Vatican isn't just managing souls, it's managing unusual human experiences. The final thoughts for this segment: if belief can heal people, break people, control people, and the Vatican defines spiritual reality, controls ritual responses, and decides what is a possession versus illness, then it doesn't just run a religion.
It runs the largest psychological experiment in human history. I need a drink.
Same. I'd pivot back to the documented facts. This is the segment where everything stops being theoretical. In 1983, a 15-year-old Vatican citizen named Emanuela Orlandi vanished in Rome. She was the daughter of a Vatican employee. She never came home, and this is all documented.
This already feels worse than aliens.
Witnesses place her near a music school, St. Apollinaire Church, Vatican-owned property. Then the phone calls started. Callers claimed she was being held hostage. The Vatican had to release a Turkish gunman who tried to assassinate Pope John Paul II, and later that she had been abused and killed.
Why does this feel like a mob movie?
Because the mafia is about to walk on stage. At the time, the Vatican Bank was laundering mafia money. The Banco Ambrosiano had just collapsed. Billions were missing. Roberto Calvi was dead. Some investigators believe Emanuela was kidnapped to blackmail the Vatican.
Using a child as leverage.
Yes, and here is where it gets unbearable. 2012, a mafia boss's girlfriend testified that Emanuela was taken to Vatican property and abused.
Jesus Christ.
Now, credible allegation lane. Some former Vatican insiders claim she wasn't kidnapped by outsiders. She was silenced because she had knowledge of sexual abuse inside the Vatican walls, high-ranking clergy, and internal scandals.
So Epstein Island, but holy.
Look,
Sorry, coping mechanism.
in 2019, the Vatican opened a tomb inside his own cemetery. It was supposed to contain Emanuela's remains. It was completely empty. There were no bones, no coffin, and still no explanation.
That's not eerie, that's cinematic.
Another documented fact lane. In 1998, a Swiss guard named Cedric Tournay was found dead. So was his wife, and a senior Vatican official. The Vatican ruled it as a murder-suicide.
And nobody bought that.
Exactly. There were missing ballistic reports, conflicting timelines, sealed evidence, and other whistleblowers and insiders died suddenly, vanished, or recanted under pressure. Let's merge in another academic line. The Vatican runs a formal miracle verification office. It investigates medical cures, spontaneous healings, resurrection claims. That part is documented.
So, God's quality control department.
Now, credible allegation lane. Doctors and journalists have claimed medical records were swapped, witness testimony was pressured, diagnoses were altered, and all of this to approve miracles.
So, some saints are admin errors.
Final thoughts for this segment. If the Vatican silences witnesses, protects abusers, falsifies miracles, and buries missing children, then this isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. It's organized crime with incense.
I feel physically sick.
Good. That means your soul still works. Everything in this segment is either court records, financial investigations, parliamentary inquiries, or first-hand testimony. No vibes, no aliens, no demons, just spreadsheets.
Those are the scariest entities of all.
The Vatican Bank, officially the Institute of the works of religion, was created to manage church assets, fund missions, and handle donations. That's the brochure.
And the reality?
For decades, it functioned as a secret jurisdiction, a tax haven, and a money laundering hub. It held numbered accounts, anonymous deposits, shell company funds, mafia money, and intelligence slush funds.
So God's offshore account.
Michel Sindona was a Vatican banker, a mafia financier, CIA-linked operative, convicted fraudster, poisoned in prison.
That bio needs a content warning.
Roberto Calvi, chairman of Banco Ambrosiano, nicknamed the God's Banker. Banco Ambrosiano collapsed in 1982. Over $1 billion vanished. The Vatican was a major shareholder. It paid hush money to Calvi's creditors.
That's not very holy.
Documented investigations revealed the Vatican Bank was used to move CIA funds, support anti-communist operations, funnel money to South America, back political movements.
So holy waterboarding.
Exactly. It had sovereign immunity, diplomatic cover, and zero transparency, which makes it perfect. Let's talk about real estate now. The Vatican is one of the largest property owners on earth. It owns prime London real estate, Paris luxury properties, Rome commercial blocks, hotels, shopping centers, farmland, and investment portfolios.
Jesus would absolutely flip these tables.
It pays little to no tax, benefits from diplomatic immunity, and hides assets through shell entities.
So it's a hedge fund with incense.
Multiple financial audits have found unaccounted funds, ghost accounts, and black budget spending. Estimates range from tens of billions.
Where did it go?
Excellent question. The Vatican refuses full audits, blocks investigators, invokes the self rule.
So trust us, bro.
Final thought on this segment: the Vatican is not primarily a church, it's a financial institution, a political actor, a self ruled intelligence hub. Religion is a brand, money is the engine.
And God is the logo. So after all that, tunnels, popes, Nazis, aliens, time machines, missing girls, laundering billions like it's a Tuesday chore, I've got a question.
Go on.
Are we the baddies for knowing this now?
Welcome to the consciousness shoes off. Trauma on left. Here's the thing that actually keeps me up at night. Not the aliens, not the time TV. Not even the idea there's a temperature controlled room in Rome full of stuff that would make the Marvel Cinematic Universe look like a school play. It's this. The Vatican doesn't behave like a spiritual organization. It behaves like a state intelligence apparatus that just happens to sell gods.
So less House of God, more House of Cards with incense.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean every priest is evil. It doesn't mean every nun is a part of some lizard covert knitting human skin jumpers. It means institutions rot. And when they rot, they protect reputation, revenue, power, continuity, and the truth is optional. Here's the theory: tattoo it on your soul. The Vatican doesn't hide things because they're evil. They hide things because truth breaks the systems. Truth breaks doctrine, authority, legitimacy, national myths, economic empires, people's sanity. And if tomorrow the archives prove that Jesus had kids, the heaven is just misinterpreted tech, angels are extraterrestrials, God isn't what we were sold, the church knowingly covered up genocide, abuse, wars, coups, you wouldn't just lose a religion. You'd lose governments, borders, currencies, legal systems, moral frameworks, And that's not enlightenment. That's civilization on fire.
So it's not demons in the basement.
No, it's men in cardigans with ring binders. History isn't hidden by shadow monsters. It's hidden by committees, legal departments, risk analysts, PR teams for the greater good logic. Every cover up starts as if people knew this, it would cause chaos, and ends as, well, we're in too deep now.
Here's the uncomfortable part. Forget aliens. We know they lied about abuse for decades. We know they moved predators, silenced victims, paid hush money, destroyed files, protected bishops. That alone proves the system will sacrifice children to protect itself. So when people say they'll never hide something that big,
They absolutely would, because they absolutely did.
so the real conspiracy is bureaucracy.
Yes, and fear. Empires don't fall because of villains, they fall because they can't tell the truth anymore. The Vatican isn't unique. It's just an older, richer, and better dressed.
So what do we do with all this?
We don't storm Rome. We don't burn churches. We don't declare the Pope a reptilian warlock. We just grow up. We stop outsourcing truth to institutions.
We hold governments accountable, religions accountable, corporations accountable.
And we separate faith from hierarchy, God from bureaucracy, spirituality from control.
So the Vatican isn't the final boss.
No, secrecy is, and fear.
And our need for comforting lies.
The Vatican doesn't hide things because they're evil. They hide things because the truth breaks the system. And if this episode teaches anything, is that even the holiest place, if given enough power, it corrupts.
Well, that was cheerful.
If you're still with us after that, congratulations. You're now emotionally eligible for our Patreon. If you want the really unhinged stuff, over on Patreon, we've got part 5 of Portugal, a deep dive into Salazar's era.
Secret police, censorship, church state psychological control. Our nation gets quietly hypnotized into obedience.
It's spicy.
And for tier 3 members,
We're doing a full episode deciding is Freud a misunderstood genius or the original corporate brainwasher who accidentally taught governments and advertisers how to reprogram humans.
trauma, sex, subconscious manipulation, CIA energy.
It's basically MK Ultra but with couches.
And next Sunday on here,
We're tackling the brand new food pyramid. Is it actually based on science? Is your dinner plate a health plan or another corporate move like the previous one?
sleep well, everyone.
Bye!